If we go back to 2010, when you won the candidacy and were then removed, well, how did that make you feel?
Obviously, I was disappointed because it was a fair and square game, and you believe in democracy, you believe in people have a right to vote and to express their preference. In the mayoral selection for the Labour Party leading up to 2010, there was a clear preference for me, Lutfur Rahman, and John Biggs and the other candidates, third candidate, Councillor Abbas, had come way behind me, and where there was a clear-cut choice from the members by overwhelming majority for that choice to be taken away, the right to be taken away by the national executive of the party without a due process, a right to be heard against any unfounded allegations. I believe it was disappointing, especially for a party of that nature. But you move on.
How did you move on? You stood independent. Was that, were you encouraged by others, or what was it? Did you think that you were going to stand with or without the party? What was your stance then?
Well, I never foresaw the circumstances that unfolded with time. It was exhilarating, it was fast. But for me, I mean, coming from a legal background, someone who's brought up in this borough, who's been part and parcel of this community from a young age, for me, a sense of public service is my duty. You know, nothing else gives me pleasure, the fact that if I can make a difference for the community that's given so much to me. The fact that, you know, from a young age I've been involved in community activities, that I've got involved in politics, and I was a Labour Party member for some 20 years or so, from a young socialist to a full-fledged member and a council leader and a councillor, Labour council leader of this council for 2 years. I took pride in the activities that I had been involved in. But certainly, for me, it was disappointing what had happened, but the sense of duty was always in me. The fact the local people, the people of Tower Hamlets, saw in me and someone who could serve them, and I had the desire to serve them, that was it. That kept me going. So if I could serve them as a mayor, whether part of a party machinery or as an independent mayor, it was irrelevant to me. The fact that I was given that chance to serve was more important.
What did it feel like to then be elected?
Well, I felt very, excitement. There was a lot of excitement there. But more importantly, the people felt that they had made a choice, and their choice was respected through the ballot.
After being elected over the last few years, what has the reception been like from the local community in Tower Hamlets towards you?
I believe it has been a positive one. I believe expectation is very high. Need is also very high. Yeah. But what I can assure you and I assure the people of Tower Hamlets is that for me and my administration, my team, this is a full-time job. It's a passion that it needs full dedication. And this is what we give. That's what I've been given for the last 3.5 years. And I want to make a difference for the people of Tower Hamlets. And I believe the people see that. They see the passion, see the commitment and the ambition on the part of my team. And whether it's in housing, education, community safety, provision for young people, or provision for women, they see that I really want to make, and the team really want to make a difference that serves each and every member of our community. Doesn't matter who you are, you're black or white, man or woman, everyone feels that they have a stake in my administration.
As a first elected mayor in Tower Hamlets, a young Muslim man of Bangladeshi origin, there must be a sense of pride in the borough.
I think so, because the community has come very far. I remember, from our forefathers from the merchant navy, to our fathers who came here in the 50s and the 60s, to our generation who came here during the early 70s, to now. We are part and parcel, an integral part of the community of Tower Hamlets. And like I have an interest to ensure that my children has the best education, I want to make sure that your children also has the best education. So we all have a stake, we all have needs, but we have to move forward as one community, one Tower Hamlets.
And how has that changed for minority groups within the borough over the last 20, 30 years? How has that changed within Tower Hamlets?
Well, a sense of belonging. a feeling that you are fully integrated and you have a right and a responsibility. You don't get, whether you're a Somali member of the Somali community or the Bangladeshi community, that you are not targeted, you don't get name called because of your color or your religion, but you are who you are. And so we celebrate each other's differences, and we make sure that our similarities are also respected. That we're one community, our needs are no different from the other communities. So the common areas of housing, education, community safety, is overlapping. So we want to make sure we deliver for each and every community.
As a young man, you're quite a politically active individual. Why did you want to get involved with politics?
I don't know if I'm a young man anymore, but I mean, it's being a part of a community which is highly polarized, which is highly politicized, but also a community that takes a keen interest in its affairs, whether it's from the anti-fascist movement in the 70s, to the need for more jobs, and a much more equitable society of the 80s, to now, where we want to make sure our kids, have a good future, a good opportunity, equality of opportunity at this stage in our life. But for me, being a lawyer, then making that transition to being a politician, I never saw myself to be a full-time politician. It evolved gradually. But I take pride in the fact that this is a passion for me. It's not a job, that I want to contribute to a better society. And I'm making a small contribution in that journey over.
Can you tell me a little bit about that transition from being a lawyer and then getting full-time involved with politics?
Well, I mean, the need to represent, advocate for the vulnerable in your community, to represent those who need representing, making that transition from a lawyer to a politician. It's the same principles. You're doing it in a bigger scale. When you make sure you allocate resources, you allocate your budget priorities, you understand the need of that community. What are the needs? Building more family-sized homes, building more schools, so making sure all our children have a school place of their choice, making sure we have the best schools so they can go on with good GCSEs, good A-levels to universities, get good jobs. Those who don't have jobs, how you can train them, give them the skills in life so they can have a second chance in life. It's those kind of aspirations. There's no dissimilar to my aspiration when I was a lawyer to represent a client and achieve the best for that client, now achieving the best for the community that you are part and parcel of.
It's been suggested that you've got close links to the Islamic Forum of Europe. And why do you think your rivals focus on this? And do you think there's any relevance to that?
Well, I think you should ask them that question, but what I would say to them is this. The IFE, the Islamic Forum of Europe, is part and parcel and very important member of our community. An organization with any other organization, whether it's from the Jewish community or from the Christian community, plays a very important role in the social welfare issues of our community. We want to see a better Tower Hamlets. We want to see our kids have the best opportunity.
I mean, this is something that's been documented in documentaries, in national newspaper articles, as well as your opposing candidates. Speaking about this. We've heard Jim Fitzpatrick make comments on this. A number of people. Why is there this focus?
Sure. Well, I want to say that I have worked with each and every organisation in the borough. I've worked with them as a councillor, as a leader, as a resident. You can't ignore anyone. You must work with them. My predecessors have also worked with the IFE. Like they've worked with any other organisation, and we want to see a better Tower Hamlets. What I will say to those who say that I have a special link within a certain organisation is that look at my relationship, examine my relationship. My relationship is to see a better Tower Hamlets. Whoever comes along and says, look, we want to work with you, we want to support you in delivering for the people of Tower Hamlets, of course I would work with them. So yes, I've worked with IFE like any other organisation, and I would continue to work with the people of Tower Hamlets and making Tower Hamlets a better place.
As an example for young Muslims in the political field, do you think people should become more involved in politics? And is this where you saw yourself maybe 10 years ago?
Sure. Alhamdulillah. I mean, I believe it's a blessing, and I'm very grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me a chance, and for the people of Tower Hamlets giving me a chance to serve them. It's a very small way for me to serve the people of Tower Hamlets and serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I would encourage people to get involved in mainstream politics, to get involved in politics generally, and the need for public service, because then you can manage, you can have a say and be involved in the policy delivery of a lot of the services. So from the top, we are involved in, as I said, delivering on housing, education, community safety. And if we weren't in this position, how could we have delivered 3,500 new homes, most of them household affordable homes, family-sized homes for our borough? How could we have met the needs of our youngsters, trying to ensure and push as many youngsters into universities as possible, so that it's life-changing for them and the family, and you create a better society? Absolutely. I will encourage young Muslims. I will encourage anyone from the community, also non-Muslims. Please get involved in the community that you live in. You have a vested interest in, because you want to make sure that community is a community that you can be proud of. And I'm very much proud of the community that I live in.
Thank you very much for speaking to us, Mayor Lutfur.
Thank you, and grateful to you and your channel. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.